The Trials by Gillian Hanscombe from her book Hecate's Charms. I said, there was a tree outside my window, which was very close, but I knew it was not me. I could tell the whole world by it, the state of the sun and its position, although it was hidden from me, the influence of the sky and the effects of the clouds, the position of the people who passed behind it or around about it or who sat underneath it. But the best part was the light on it, thin or stark or glittering or piercing. It was close to me, but it was not me. One day I was looking, and a leaf fell in at my window. It was intricately veined. It was pliant and soothing to the touch. It was green all by itself, not reflecting whether the light was thin or stark or glittering or piercing, but having light within it. Its edges were finely shaped and determined in a perfect symmetry. The tree was outside, but the leaf fell in at my window, and it was me by proximity, although it lost nothing of itself. That was a mystery. It was given to me, and I could bruise it, and I would bruise it if I held it too firmly, if I thought I might have it by holding. That was not the way, because by holding I obscured its intricate veins and could not see it. It was given to me, but so was I also given to the leaf, because it was to teach me things not so bold as those the tree held out, and things not so large as the workings of the universe, which the tree interpreted for me, but things very secret, which lie behind the outward energy of love. The leaf was a thing as precious to me as myself, so that when I bruised it out of vanity, I bruised myself. Those secret things will linger when it is night, and when the tree has lost its power, and they linger behind what I must learn about the world, and they will linger when I am alone and afraid. And then I said, now that I am not afraid, I shall be free, because the rainbow has come at dawn, and the small birds are together, and the milkman is friendly, even though I have need of you. Even though there are niches and crevices, as well as cliffs in the dark part of the brain where knowledge is not yet, or where love has been unduly timid, where suns will come and make the mosses spring, and the lichen, and make the ferns grow sweet and spreading, and there will be dragonflies above the water, zing and swoosh. I went on a journey, and I was afraid of the dark, and I was fierce or melancholy, and I went on only because of the mosses and lichen and ferns which might grow there if the suns came, and the colors. The rainbow gives colors at dawn, and the milkman says not now, not the dark part that is not for everywhere and everyone, but I said it is the dark part which needs the sun, and which could be sweet, and I knew that I have need of you, so I am not afraid. And then I said, when I heard help, I was aroused, and I went to the lake to find who was drowning, but there was no one, so I looked at the trees drooping side by side and slithering down to the water sheer but silent. I looked also at the high sky, which had no clouds for reference, and which bent its shell around the visible world. I was lying under the trees which grew under the shell of the sky, and I heard help, so I looked around. But there was no disturbance, not on the water, nor in the air, nor anywhere on my territory. I thought of the old gods and their visitations, and I thought of the forms in my head which were so many that they may well have taken shape of their own accord. They may well have tumbled their myriad silences together to part the air in that bitterly silent place. I saw the water turning the sun away. I did not know whether what was around me was much too immense or just too intimate, and I could not arrange the details for myself. It seemed that the bare backbone of the world must be enough. When I heard help, I went to the edge of the water, and I looked in. There were fish, of course, and swaying green tangle, and the flat of the surface was as clean as a lover's eyes. I looked at the sky, but there were neither shapes nor sounds, and my mind was made weary by immutability. What was around me possessed neither gravity nor wit, but I must impose them and send their names across the air. When I heard help, my senses were turning to rage, and the thin calm of myself was tearing like linen, and I started to look at my secrets to find the one which cried, "Help." There is a secret which cries help. It is the secret of grief, and that is the secret which whispers behind all the other secrets of every person in the world. And then I said, I am sick between two hills, waiting for unwitting metaphor, unnatural silence. Sweet water is tumbling, but it is not enough, and there is a landscape, well stocked, but that is too much to see, and too much not to feel. I want to be rich. I want to be rampant. I want to go over the hills, up, down, slide the slender belt, tramp, spinny copsewood forest. I am sick for you in an imminent confusion. And I whispered, "Oh, my friend, be like the soft sea which is over there waiting for dawn, because dawn will make it pink and gold as it always has, and will make it coveted by brown young girls as it always will be. It was very black under yachts, under the impassive moon which always makes it shiver. I can hear it shivering now. The stones are quiet now, but after dawn the brown young girls will walk on them, and when they do there will be a clinking slide, and some stones will slip gravely into the sea. After dawn everything will be moving, and there is only the swish of the sea in front of my blind eyes. When the brown young girls deliver themselves up to the wet, there will be something to remind me of you, who can be very soft when the dawn allows it." Then I said, when the mountains all went under the sea, and the day was bright with its effort, and the sun went bowling along as it had always done, and the pretty creatures were all dismayed. I went along astonished at the flatness of things and the leveling. I saw that the earth was round and not to be diminished, and the heat made me lie down and wonder if the water cycle would keep working, and how we should employ all the people who used to depend on snow, and whether there would still be aeroplane crashes, and whether those who are driven by aggression would sit about building artificial mountains now that there were none. I thought how precarious the land was, how thin it was, how it was not attached to anything but just went floating like a huge raft or like a packing case in a flood. If there were a tidal wave, it would sweep the whole earth in a perfect circle, and it might just keep washing around and around forever. And if there were a flood, there would be no refuge. The story of Noah has lost its meaning. I can set out for the horizon on any side. When the mountains went under the sea, there were no earthquakes or signs of violence except for a few shocking accidents in tourist bays and a few frightened fishermen. They just slid silently away, and everyone was amazed at the depth of the sea and wanted to go diving instead of climbing, because the treasures of the reefs would be underwater ferns and smooth sedimentary rocks, and the fossils and relics of a landed civilization that had silently. Now that the land is even and flat, and the same everywhere, I know that when I stand or sit, or when I lie down straight, I am a mountain, because I am raised above the surface of the land, and enough above the surface of the sea to look across it and reflect. When the mountains all went under the sea, we were reduced, the one to the other, and we lost our concept of superior height.